Okay, a very good morning everyone. I hope all of you are keeping well. In this video lecture, we are going to start with a new topic, that of network analysis and network theorems. I am going to begin with defining some important terms which will be very useful in doing network analysis. Then I will be explaining to you the Kirchhoff's laws, and then finally I will be doing proofs of two important network theorems, namely the superposition theorem and the reciprocity theorem. So, we begin with the important terms. The first one is the electrical network. Any electrical circuit containing resistances, capacitances, inductances and generators, that is sources of EMF, is known as an electrical network. Network or circuit elements are of basically two types, passive and active. Passive elements, elements which are not fundamental sources of power, are called passive elements. Example, resistances, capacitances and inductances. Active elements, elements which feed power into the given circuits, are called active elements. These are of two types, namely voltage source and current source. Ideal voltage source is an active device which can maintain a constant voltage across its terminals irrespective of the current supplied by it. It is also called as a constant voltage source. The figure that you see on the screen is that of an ideal voltage source. Its internal impedance is 0. As you can see, Z in is 0, and therefore the voltage across the load resistance, say ZL, is simply equal to the voltage at the source. So we simply get VAB to be equal to E. Now the figure that you see on the right is that of an actual or a real voltage source. Here the internal impedance is not exactly 0, and therefore the voltage across the load depends upon the load impedance, and therefore VAB is not exactly equal to E. Example of a nearly ideal voltage source is a Zener diode connected in reverse bias, and the figure that you see on the extreme right on your screen is the VI characteristics of the Zener diode. As you can see, in the reverse bias mode, the voltage becomes nearly a constant irrespective of the current. Next is the ideal current source. It is an active device that can supply a constant current to any load or resistance irrespective of the output voltage across the terminals. It is also called as a constant current source. The figure that you see on the screen is that of an ideal current source. Its internal impedance connected in parallel is infinity, and therefore the current at the load is simply equal to the value at the source. So we get I dash to be equal to I. Now the figure that you see on the right is that of an actual or a real current source, and here the internal impedance is not infinity, it is much lower than infinity, and therefore the current at the load is dependent on the load impedance. Example of a nearly ideal current source is a transistor connected in the common emitter mode, and the figure that you see at the bottom is the VI characteristics of a transistor connected in the CE mode. You can see that the collector current or the output current gets nearly constant irrespective of the collector emitter voltage VCE. Now the figure that you see on your screen is that of a typical network, and we will do a few more important terms related to a network. The first term is the branch point. A branch point is also known as a junction or a node. A branch point in a network is a point where three or more conductors are joined. For example, the points A and B in the given network are examples of branch points. The next term is loop. Loop is any closed conducting path in a network. For example, in the given network, the path ACBD and the path ACBA as well as the path ABDA are all examples of loop. Now the next term is mesh. Now mesh is a loop which cannot be further subdivided into other loops. For example, in the above network, ACBA and ABDA are two meshes. Now all networks cannot be reduced to simple series parallel combinations, and therefore the Ohm's law is not sufficient enough to solve them, and therefore we require Kirchhoff's laws to solve such problems and to determine the current in every branch of the network. So now we will do the Kirchhoff's there are two Kirchhoff's laws. The first one is known as the Kirchhoff's current law. According to the Kirchhoff's current law, the algebraic sum of all the currents meeting at a branch point is 0. So we see that the summation Ij is simply equal to 0 at a branch point. Here the convention is that the current flowing towards the branch point is taken as positive and the current flowing away from the branch point is taken as negative. So therefore you see that the currents I1, I2 and I4, which are currents moving towards the branch point, are taken as positive, while the currents I3 and I5, which are moving away from the branch point, are taken as negative. Now this law is a direct consequence of the equation of continuity of charge, since there cannot be any accumulation of charge at any point in the circuit. Now the second Kirchhoff's law is the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now according to this law, in any loop, the algebraic sum of all the EMFs is equal to the algebraic sum of the products of the resistances and the currents flowing through them. So therefore we see that the summation Ej is simply equal to summation Ij Rj. That is, the total potential drop in a loop is equal to the total EMFs in the loop. However, before applying this law, a direction, you can take it either clockwise or anti-clockwise, you have to take as the traversal direction for the loop. And EMF in the loop is to be taken as positive if the EMF produces current in the traversal direction, and the product IR is taken as positive if the current I through the resistance R flows in the traversal direction. Some other important terms are active network, which contains sources of EMF. A passive network is a network that contains no sources of EMF. A linear network is a network that contains linear impedances, that is, impedances that obey the Ohm's law, that is V is equal to IR. A non-linear network is a network where the relation between voltage and current is not linear. Now, network problems can be solved by the application of Ohm's law and Kirchhoff's laws, but in complicated circuits, calculations based on these laws are very lengthy and tedious. However, they can be easily solved by the application of certain theorems called network theorems, and we are going to do two such network theorems in this video lecture. The first one is the superposition theorem. According to the superposition theorem, in any linear network containing impedances and more than one source of EMF, the current flowing in any element is equal to the algebraic sum of the currents that would separately flow in that element if each source of EMF were considered separately, all the other sources being replaced at that time by their internal impedances. Now what you see on your screen is the proof of the superposition theorem. You can pause the video and go and read the proof step by step. You will find the proof to be self-explanatory, and you can easily understand the proof till the end. The next theorem that we are going to do is the reciprocity theorem. According to the reciprocity theorem, if an EMF applied in one mesh of a network of linear impedances produces a certain current in the second mesh, then the same EMF acting in the second mesh will give an identical current in the first mesh. Now, on your screen you see the proof of the reciprocity theorem. You can pause the video again and go through the proof step by step. You will find the proof to be self-explanatory. In case you find any problem in the proofs, you can message me personally on my WhatsApp number. Thanks for watching this video.